Welcome. In front of me is the Samsung Galaxy Tab S6 Lite, and today I'll go over unboxing along with a quick overview. Now also add that this is the 2022 version of it, so it is a little bit of a revamped version, considering the original one, S6 Lite, was released in 2020, while this one is obviously 2022. So anyway, let's just get into it. There we go. Whoa, what is this? Whoa, Samsung, are you feeling okay? Including a charger in a box? Whoa. They included a charger, but I don't think this is any good charger, so this is a... oh boy. It's a 7.8 watts. Holy, wow, we're gonna so much power out of that one. And we do also have a stupidly cheap looking cable for it, Type-C. But where it matters is that they included a pen. And that's, I'm not being sarcastic, I actually do like the fact that they included a pen right here. It's a pretty light pen, I'll say that. Kind of feels like it wouldn't even work, but anyway. It ironically kind of feels like a prop rather than a functional pen, but I'm pretty sure it's functional, obviously. Anyway, let's just get into it. So right here we have our device. It's looking pretty nice and clean. These little, I think these are like antennas right here, kind of give me a old HTC or like Apple vibes with their phones, where they used to have this as well. Anyway, let's just turn it on. So while it's turning on, let's quickly go into the display specs. So it's a TFT LCD display, 10.4 inches resolution with resolution of 1200 by 2000, 81.6% screen to body ratio, and 224 pixels per inch. So to be honest, this display is a little bit underwhelming, especially for the price. Now I'll mention the price right away, just so you all know what we're dealing with here. So it comes at about 400 euros, which honestly, for that amount of money for a tablet, I would like to see a tablet with something like an AMOLED display. It is a Samsung after all, they have their own panels. They could have probably included an AMOLED display without much problem, considering they produce them themselves. So it's not like the price would rack up quickly here. So yeah, that's just something that I wanted to point out. Now, going down the list of specs right here, let me just quickly change the language. As you can see, the pen is working right away. There was no pairing needed or anything like that, so that's nice. But yeah, so going with the specs, right here we have a pretty decent battery at 7040 milliamps, though because it's big and the charger is absolutely pitiful. Like, this is almost a prop. I feel sorry for whoever will be charging it with this speed. So this is with this kind of charger, you will plug this in and basically charge it for the entire night, and probably even not have it charged in the morning after you wake up. So yeah, it's not good, let's be honest. It's a really good big battery, which is a good thing, but the charger right here should have been at least 22 watts, which is still pathetic for Samsung standards, where they include such a garbage charger for their like most expensive devices. But yet they decided to even drop it lower, so we're evolving here with charging speed just backwards. Just to kind of point that out, the first devices that like the first smartphones that came out were charging with the speed of 5 watts, because that's what USB was able to provide. But since then we improved, and nowadays devices charge with 120 watts in certain cases. So Samsung releasing a device like this and giving you an 8, not even 8 watts charger is just like a middle finger. Like, here you go, here's your charger, now F off, and be happy that we gave you one at all. That's kind of how it feels to me. Anyway, where's the power button? There we go. Alright, I need to connect to Wi-Fi most likely, which I... Oh no, I don't. Wow. So only the phones need to. Okay. So continuing down, surprisingly, we have a Snapdragon 720G right here, which, if we compare to the previous one, the non-2022 S6 Lite, the other one, the old one, came with an Exynos processor. So this one is a little bit of a step up. Right here, it will be a little bit faster because of it. And I personally do prefer a Snapdragon. It's a little bit... in most cases, it was always better than Exynos, or whatever Exynos was trying to be equivalent of at that time. So yeah. Now, where this device kind of falls flat is the amount of RAM. We only have here in two variants, but both of them come with 4 gigs of RAM. So you have 64 or 128. And because this is Samsung, I'm expecting that there is no expandable storage, but I could be wrong. So let's just get a quick look. There we go. Oh no, there is an expandable storage. So you can go for the 64, it will be cheaper, and then you can pop in an SD card and have more storage if you need it that way. But in terms of RAM, if you need more than 4 gigs, tough luck. In this case, I assume you will need to go for the, for instance, like the S7 version of it, rather than the S6 Lite. And I don't think there is an S7 Lite, if you're wondering. So there we go. Now, touching upon one of the last things which I didn't mention is the cameras. So right here we have one camera at the front, the selfie one, which let me just kind of, you can see it right here. So this is a 5 megapixel wide sensor, shoots at 1080p 30 frames, and if we flip it over we have another camera right here, and this one shoots at 1080p 30 frames, just as the front one, but it is a 8 megapixel instead of the 5 like it was at the front. So it will produce a little bit of a sharper image in general. And that's about all I have to say about this device. So there we go. Now, at a €400 price, I think it might be a little bit of a stretch. It has a decent processor. I cannot overlook that one. So most likely majority of the price is going into the processor, but for this price I would have actually expected to also have a at least AMOLED display right here, which we don't, or higher refresh rate display, which we don't. And it just kind of leads me to believe that they're not including it right here just to sell the newer versions of it, like the S7 or S8 tabs, which I believe one of them did come with a higher refresh rate and obviously better display type than this does. This is obviously Lite version, but it's not Lite in price, so it's a little bit of a bummer right here. It could have been a great device, at least in my opinion, if they included one of those two, higher refresh rate or better display type. Now, one thing that I point out, Snapdragon 720G. I don't know if it was capable of pumping, for instance, 120 Hertz. So if it wasn't, obviously it's most certainly capable of utilizing an AMOLED display. It's not really a problem, that's just a type of a display. But processors do have a limitation in terms of how many frames they can push onto the display. So if it couldn't, they could have just gotten us the better display where colors will look much more vibrant, the display might be brighter. And in addition, the black levels right here, if it would have been AMOLED, would have been superb, which with an LCD display, they won't be. So, like I said, could have been a really nice device, but they decided to skimp out and try to force you to go for a more expensive version. And because of that, this device already has a hefty price without giving you the benefit of that higher price tag. At least that's what I would think. How I feel about this. In general, if you're looking for a tablet that is still powerful enough and you want to stay with the Samsung ecosystem, then that's fine. It will obviously work really well. It has decent processor in here. The battery is also pretty good, so you'll be able to use it for extensive amounts of time. But again, in terms of like charging speed, you will suffer here. Now to quickly go into the pros and cons, just to kind of list them. The pros here would be the resolution right here is okay. Should be pretty clear in terms of like the sharpness of it. The processor obviously is a big win right here, being a fairly powerful processor. And the battery size, again, really big and nice for longevity of the device, so you can use it and not worry about the devices dying after using it for like an hour. So that's nice. Also, it's running Android 12 with upgradability to Android 13, which is the newest one right now. So again, that's another W right here. And in general, the build of this device seems actually nice. It feels more premium with the aluminum back right here. To keep in mind, aluminum might get scratched, so it might not look as pristine and nice as it does right now. So something to keep in mind. Now the cons right here will be the charging speed. Obviously, it's almost non-existent with the charger, at least that comes. This is basically a prop, not really a real charger. So I would say that you basically need to get a better charger, because this device is capable of charging it at 15 watts. So you can charge it quicker, but not with this garbage that comes provided with it. Now, ironically, Samsung is the one that is pushing the save the planet. We don't include chargers because of it, but then when we include absolute shit. That's what it is. And they're gonna have the audacity to bullshit you that, oh, we care about the planet, that's why we're selling a 30-watt or $30 charger separately out of the box, but when we don't, we include this effing garbage. So yeah, fantastic, great job. You're fooling no one. Another thing, moving on, right here will be also the display. Like I mentioned, that is a con right here, not anything good. So the display type and the refresh rates are a little bit outdated in both cases, and I would like to see something that just looks or runs better. I didn't also mention one more thing in terms of the cons right here. No, pros, my bad. That the device comes with a pen, which obviously if you look for something like iPads or stuff like that, you will quickly realize that these devices do not come with any kind of pen. This one, I think all these Samsung tabs do come with a pen, so you either get it with it or just the device doesn't come with one and doesn't support it. So I really like the fact that Samsung does include a pen in the box straight from the get-go if the device is designed to support it. So that's actually one of the bigger wins for it. So anyway, to finish this off and just give you a quick rundown, the device is a little bit expensive, but it does give you some benefits for the price. Especially if you're a creator, I think you could utilize this device, especially with a pen, obviously. So yeah, that's about all I have to say. Anyway, if you found this video helpful, don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and thanks for watching.